Walsh here for our weekly Chairman's Update. As this summer has been moving along, things have been very busy all around Washington. Basically, this week's update is just an update. I'm going to give you more information about things we've discussed previously that are moving along. First up, this week, we had an update to the great investigative reporting that Glenn Morgan at We the Governed has been doing about the number of improperly, illegally registered voters there are in Washington state. Morgan has done investigative reporting based on whistleblower information that's been handed to him by employees at several county auditors' offices, as well as within the Washington State Secretary of State's office. These whistleblowers who don't know each other are feeding information about the number of registered voters whose voter registration information isn't complete, doesn't contain any verification of their identity, and in various ways doesn't comply with, is illegal according to a number of federal laws and the president's recent federal executive orders, as well as non with best practices that have been defined in. So there is no question that the Washington state voter registration process is flawed. Now, for a long time, the state Secretary of State's office, and of course the state Secretary of State is the state official charged with overseeing elections in Washington, has denied any of this, has said there's no problem at all, that voter registration in Washington state is great, perfect, no problems. But lately, in response to some of this investigative reporting, they've changed their tune a bit. Now they're saying, well, there's been a problem, but we've got the problem under control, and it's getting smaller. We're reducing the number of non-compliant or illegally registered state. That is a big pivot. Official line from state officials for years that everything was what was good, that everything was solid. So there's no doubt that this investigative work is putting pressure on state election officials. They're at least acknowledging that there's an issue with people being improperly, perhaps illegally registered to vote. This all gets to the point of our big summer project, which has been IL 26-126, the initiative requiring proof of citizenship when people register to vote in Washington. And that project is moving right along. Our first, not quite 30 days, our first 20 days of actively soliciting signatures, primarily at county fairs and other public events, has been going strong. We're off to a strong start. Demand for these sheets, these petition forms, has been huge. In the first 30 days, our focus has been on distributing the petitions and organizing our signature gathering through the 39 county parties. So we've been encouraging people who are interested in the proof of citizenship, voter ID issue, and in supporting the initiative to go to their county parties to get the sheets, to get information, to get what they need. We're coming up kind of at the end of that first stage of distribution of material and organization, and we're going to start broadening it out. We're going to start sending the initiative forms, the petitions, or signatures, and other information to more organizations. Now, the county parties will still be the focus of our organizational efforts, and we will encourage people who have these sheets and are collecting signatures to hand them in, turn them in, gather them at their county GOP offices or with their county GOP leadership. And then we will work on collecting the completed signature forms from each of the county parties over the next few months. remember that we have until the end of the calendar year, basically until about Christmas time, to collect about, we're aiming for about 340,000 signatures on these petition signatures. So we're circulating petition sheets out to people around the state. So we're going to those over the next few months, keep them secure, make sure the information is solid, and then our plan is to hand them in to the Secretary of State right before the end of the year, at the end of the calendar year. We got some good news this week in our efforts to promote this initiative and get attention for it and get signatures. Scott Presler, the very high-profile kind of grassroots voter activist who gets people registered to vote and acts as a kind of Johnny Appleseed going around the country and getting people signed up to vote and getting people activated, supports this initiative and the similar ones that are going on this year in Oregon and California. And Presler, who has announced he plans to come out to the West Coast. He's more an East Coast guy, but he is going to come out here to Washington, Oregon, and California, probably after the special election general, so after early November. He's going to come out here and help promote IL 26-126, as well as the kind of sibling projects going on in Oregon and California. He is going to come out and help us promote, help us gather signatures, help us raise awareness about these voter ID and election reform initiatives all up and down the West Coast. We are absolutely looking forward to having Presler out here. He is a charismatic guy and he just draws people. He's good at getting people activated about politics and reform. So we're absolutely looking forward to seeing Presler out here kind of around the holidays. You know, it'll be November, maybe early December. He'll be out here, and that'll be kind of the final push per our schedule for getting signatures for this initiative. So looking forward to seeing Scott Presler out here and help with the initiative. And the last bit of news this week is the state party did release the results of a poll that we did in the 3rd Congressional District, that's Southwest Washington. We've been getting tons of questions from people about the 3rd Congressional District. The district in which the last couple of election cycles, Joe Kent ran for the Congress seat. Now, Joe was not elected. He fell a little bit short both in 2022 and 2024. Of course, Joe was recently appointed by President Trump to a cabinet position in the Trump administration as director of the National Counterterrorism Center that operates under the National Security Advisor office. It's considered part of the administration, part of the cabinet. So cheers to Joe Kent. Congratulations, Joe, for getting confirmed by the U.S. Senate and being in the cabinet now with President Trump. But that means he's not going to run for Congress again. So we have Republican names against the incumbent Democrat Congresswoman. And the good news was each of the names that we tested, different people who have announced or are interested in running for Congress or have been suggested they should run for Congress, any one of those names beats the incumbent Democrat Congresswoman. That's a very good sign. And then just recently, about the same time that we were releasing the poll, which we had done before, like a couple of weeks ago, the state senator John Braun out of the Centralia Chehalis area announced formally that he is going to run for that congressional seat in Southwest Washington. So it is a hopeful sign that we tested several likely candidates. John Braun, Senator Braun, was one of the names we tested. And all of those potential candidates project to defeat the incumbent Democrat Congresswoman. So now Braun has announced, and we have what we believe is a good chance to flip that Congress seat. This is back in D.C., of course, the U.S. Congress, from a Democrat incumbent to a Republican after the November 2026 election. So that's not this year. That's looking forward to next year. But it certainly is a race that a lot of people are asking about. And we're beginning to see some numbers take shape there. And they look good for the Republican challenger to the Democrat incumbent. That's it for this week. A lot going on. We will continue to keep you posted. We normally shoot these videos on Thursday of each week, and there's always more coming each weekend. I will be out and about at a couple of county fairs. We're still in county fair season, and we'll be talking about IL 26-126, requiring proof of citizenship when people register to vote in Washington. A great, great reform. And again, we're looking forward to seeing Scott Presler coming out later this year to help promote it. That's it for this week. Until next time, stay strong and be well.